The language of friendship is not words, but meanings. What is the use of a house if you haven't got a tolerable planet to put it on? An early morning walk is a blessing for the whole day. Could a greater miracle take place than for us to look through each other's eyes for an instant? This world is but canvas to our imaginations. Only that day dawns to which we are awake. There is more day to dawn. The sun is but a morning star. It is never too late to give up your prejudices. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. How many a man has dated a new era in his life from the reading of a book? It is not worth the while to let our imperfections disturb us always. For my greatest skill has been to want but little. I say, beware of all enterprises that require new clothes, and not rather a new wearer of clothes. The most I can do for my friend is simply to be his friend. There are 1,000 hacking at the branches of evil to one who is striking at the root. Pursue some path, however narrow and crooked, in which you can walk with love and reverence. Say what you have to say, not what you ought. Any truth is better than make-believe. Had 3 chairs in my house. 1 for solitude, 2 for friendship, 3 for society. It is not enough to be industrious, so are the ants. What are you industrious about? The universe is wider than our views of it. Wildness is the preservation of the world. Rather than love, than money, than fame, give me truth. How vain it is to sit down to write when you have not stood up to live. The question is not what you look at, but what you see. Dreams are the touchstones of our characters. Books are the treasured wealth of the world and the fit inheritance of generations and nations. All good things are wild and free. Our life is frittered away by detail. Simplify, simplify. Read the best books first, or you may not have a chance to read them at all. I would rather sit on a pumpkin, and have it all to myself, than be crowded on a velvet cushion. Disobedience is the true foundation of liberty. The obedient must be slaves. As if you could kill time without injuring eternity. I was not born to be forced. I will breathe after my own fashion. Let us see who is the strongest. Things do not change, we change. There is no remedy for love but to love more. Our truest life is when we are in dreams awake. Heaven is under our feet as well as over our heads. If we will be quiet and ready enough, we shall find compensation in every disappointment. A man is rich in proportion to the number of things which he can afford to let alone. Every generation laughs at the old fashions, but follows religiously the new. All men want, not something to do with, but something to do, or rather something to be. The path of least resistance leads to crooked rivers and crooked men. Friends. They cherish one another's hopes. They are kind to one another's dreams. Amid a world of noisy, shallow actors, it is noble to stand aside and say, I will simply be. Men have become the tools of their tools. We are born as innocents. We are polluted by advice. Men are born to succeed, not to fail. Thank God men cannot fly, and lay waste the sky as well as the earth. I have, as it were, my own sun and moon and stars, and a little world all to myself. If a plant cannot live according to its nature, it dies, and so a man. I should not talk so much about myself if there were anybody else whom I knew as well. We are constantly invited to be what we are. What sort of philosophers are we, who know absolutely nothing of the origin and destiny of cats? That man is the richest whose pleasures are the cheapest. Books must be read as deliberately and reservedly as they were written. I make myself rich by making my wants few. Renew thyself completely each day. What does education often do? It makes a straight-cut ditch of a free, meandering brook. I have a room all to myself, it is nature. The heart is forever inexperienced. The keeping of bees is like the direction of sunbeams. Every path but your own is the path of fate. Keep on your own track, then. Do not hire a man who does your work for money, but him who does it for love of it. To be awake is to be alive. I have never yet met a man who was quite awake. Night is certainly more novel and less profane than day. Life in us is like the water in a river. Be resolutely and faithfully what you are. Be humbly what you aspire to be. It takes two to speak the truth, one to speak and another to hear. Enthusiasm is a supernatural serenity. Beware of all enterprises that require new clothes. The greatest art is to shape the quality of the day. All change is a miracle to contemplate, but it is a miracle which is taking place every instant. As to conforming outwardly and living your own life inwardly, I do not think much of that. He who hears the rippling of rivers in these degenerate days will not utterly despair. The only remedy for love is to love more. In the long run, we only hit what we aim at. Live your beliefs and you can turn the world around. Any man more right than his neighbors constitutes a majority of one already. Love must be as much a light as it is a flame. I believe in the forest, and in the meadow, and in the night in which the corn grows. We hear and apprehend only what we already half know.